Alright, back working on this thing again. I'm currently working on all the wiring gremlins. Yeah. So I've figured out a couple things. I got taillights back, turn signals are working again. The heater was being weird, and I'll explain that in a minute, but I don't have brake lights. But whatever, I don't need a brake pedal anyways. Take that shit out. But everything else still works. And I forgot I didn't figure out the rear seat heater, which is something I really want. And it's actually being a pain in the ass because the heater core lines right there. I don't know who put this freaking tube in right here, but it's real inconvenient. But I figured out how to get power to that and have it work. The heater before, all right, so the heater before, this big blue with a red tracer wire right here, it's the main power to the heater core. So if you put power to this, it comes on, but the problem is it comes on when the selector's in the off position. So even when it's on and you click it over to low, it still maintains the speed, and then it still will actually gradually increase speed like it's supposed to, but never actually turns off. So pulled it all apart, got to the switch, the actual like climate control switch there, pulled that apart, looked at it, and it is the only thing I can't quite figure out. There's 7 wires, 2 of them are for illumination, 4 of them, 4 of them are the main powers out because it has low, medium, high, and then high. And then there's this little yellow wire, where's it at? Right here. It comes out of it. And I ohmed it, or not ohmed it, but I traced it all the way back, got my little gauge, and I made sure that this was the right one. And then this doesn't have power. If you put power to it, it pops a fuse. If you put a ground to it, it doesn't do anything. So I actually pulled out the relay out of my old block underneath the hood. Where's it at? Right here. This is the giant conglomeration of shit that I didn't want. So I actually pulled it out, went into that slot, and there was 5 wires that go to it. So I was thinking, oh, it's just your typical 5-wire relay. I don't know if you know how that works, but that's a whole different thing. But it's not. I don't understand it, but put power to it, a ground. It has to have this wire, which doesn't produce a power or even a ground. And then you have your 2 main powers out. But it does turn on when the switch goes to low. So with it hooked up like this, depending on how you run your power wire to the relay, you can be on all the time, or I'm gonna hook it up to where it's key on. It still works properly. When you turn it off on the climate control, it's off. When you click it to low, the relay clicks on, and then it goes from there. I don't really understand how that works. I could pull the relay apart and figure it out, but that one wire doesn't produce a power or a ground. It's just there, and it has to be there. So it's gotta be doing something, obviously. But it's real annoying. But I pulled the relay, got everything out, but these spade connectors are like 1.5 times the size of your standard spade connector. So that was messing with me. So that's why I pulled that whole thing apart, and I got one. It's huge. I'm gonna work on getting all that buttoned up, and I'm gonna make a big old harness for the gauges. And actually I'm gonna utilize one of the plugs. I don't remember which one this came off of, but it should have enough wires to where I can make a harness and be able to unplug the gauge cluster and pull it all out without having to undo each individual one on the back, just to make it easier. Not that I should ever have to pull it out, but yeah. So, enough talking, get to work. Alright, well, it calls for 50, but all I have are 40s. But it should be okay, I hope. Otherwise, I gotta figure out its own power system. But if you can see, I got one of the cool bus bars that when a fuse pops, the light comes on and tells you which one it is. There's no fuse in there yet, but it still knows that it's got a ground somewhere, or it's connected somewhere with a wire. I don't know really how that works, but it works. So, oh, did that just pop already? Yeah, that just blew it up already. Well, that wasn't good. I gotta figure something else out here. That's not right. Shit. Okay, some diagnostics need to happen. That's not even on. It shouldn't have fucking popped. Unless it's ultimately grounded somewhere, which is not good. Alright, so it's completely disconnected. I'm gonna test light it, make sure it's got power. It's got power. So if I hook it to it, it shouldn't pop. Alright, so it pops. What the flying F? Over. Oh, I finally figured out the heater relay circuit. So that one wire that comes from the climate control that I had no idea what it did, it didn't have a power or ground. It's got to be a signal ground, and its relays don't take any voltage barely to turn on and off for the signal wires. I'm guessing that there's just no, like, very minimal ground going through that, which doesn't make any sense either, but it still doesn't have a ground or any power going through it when it's on or off. So I have no idea, but it is your typical 5-pin relay. So when it's on, it goes to say pin 2, and when you turn it off, it sends power to pin 3, and then 4 and 5 are your constant power through. So what was happening was the power in, when it was off, was going straight to the ground wire. So when I took that off, it shouldn't pop it anymore. I don't have a new one in. Or do I? No. So you can see the light come on when I turn it on. So that's cool. So technically, like I said earlier, it's weird how that light's on when it doesn't have a ground yet. It was grounded through the 5th pin. So pull that out and I'll put in another one and we should have heater working. I wonder, the rear seat heater shouldn't be working yet because it doesn't have power either, but I have the control right here. You can hear the relay underneath clicking, so it's getting power, but the fans don't have any, or the fan doesn't have power yet. So let's give it some power and get a tune out of this trumpet. Oh. All right, I'm gonna make sure I quit throwing the bad ones on the floorboards where all the other ones are. They can go out there with all the other bad fuses. All right, so it's all hooked up now. Oh, 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 yeah. That's what I like to see. And what the hell? Oh, okay. Well, I wired it up kind of weird. Damn it. Oh well. So this only works when this one's on. So if we turn that off, you can hear the relay click, but nothing else. But since it's on high, if I turn this one on low, this one has air blowing through it now. But so does this. So I guess that's kind of nice. I can control rear and front off of just the front. So I'll just leave this one on low all winter until whoever's riding in the back wants more heat. And yeah, this thing does start. I don't have the IAC valve hooked up to the intake, just the map sensor. But you can hear it. Didn't want to start. So that's obviously, it's way too much air for it, because it's a 3/4 inch line. It's wide open. It's like a gigantic vacuum leak. continue with the wiring. I just need to put the dash back together basically and go from there. That's basically it for now. You can see now that got the light. I have the ECU tucked up right there. It's a bitch. It's way the hell up there, but I can still utilize my center console, or not center console, but my glove box. All these need to be zip tied up, tucked away so that it all fits in there. I do have a tack wire. One of these are 4-cylinder signals because they have 2 coils. So that's kind of something to take note of. It's together. All this stuff will tuck up, put everything back in, and then this is kind of where my shifters are going to be. This will be my middle case since I just have high and low. That way it doesn't interfere. Like if it's down here, I just, ow, yeah, like that, smash a finger, and I don't want to do that. It's really bright. But so middle case will be low, high, still be able to come over, and then this will be my rear output, my front output. So I'll have high, neutral, and low, and then obviously I can do front dig, put the rear into low and stand on it and pin it. But so everything will still be clear the shifter, and it does clear my 1 cup holder I still have, so that's nice. That's pretty dirty. That's where I'm at. It's still freaking awesome to see that everything is still in working order. Even when it's just, you know, accessory, still get all that stuff. My wipers still work. Well, it's got to be on. Still got wipers. My rear wiper even works. Well, it's not even attached, but it does work. Yeah, so get all that. The blinkers, you can hear them. They're kind of there, but even my rear defrost still works. Hazards don't really matter. I'm never hazardous. But so I just gotta finish wrapping this up. I need to build my gauge cluster. That scared me. I need to build my gauge cluster harness, like I said earlier, so I can plug and unplug it, and I think there's like 15 wires that are going to be needed, but you know, whatever.
Sorry, I don't want to change. Thinking about the way we were, it takes me to another place, because I don't wanna wake up from this dream. It's our own reality. So close your eyes, open your mind, and let it free. Imaginate and realize it's all you
Alright, so that took an hour and a half to do, but it's all wired up. Everything's as neat as I can get it. Should be good. I'm gonna test it right now. I got everything labeled still. I did add in my oil pressure light, and my charge light. So that's what it looks like now. Conglomeration of shit. Well, like an idiot, I just remembered the lights, the oil pressure light and the check engine light, or not check engine light, but the, well, check engine light too, charge light. They run off of a signal ground, and I had this hooked up to a ground already, so I needed to cut it and move it to the ignition on, because it always needs power, and then when the ECU sees it, it sends a signal ground and connects the circuit for both oil and the charge light. But I kept telling myself, cut the light, and I fucking cut the illumination light wires, so now I gotta fucking cut them all off. Luckily it's just these end ones. Cut all the shit apart and fucking put it back together. Fucking annoying. Light power. There we go. Cool, so we got that. They look good. Man, they look good. That whole thing looks good. I don't think you'll be able to see it if it's lights on. Not really. Well, yeah, so. Okay. Power, voltage gauge. So the water temp goes up a little bit and trans temp go up a little bit. Fuel gauge is tacked full. Why? Why is that full? Well, they all got power. I don't know why the fuel gauge is doing that, because it doesn't even have signal going to it. Oh wait, this is charge light. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. But I guess the charge light signal should be grounded. Right? Okay, cool. So that's a ground signal right there. Trans temp, what is this one? Fuel gauge. And this one should be oil light. Sweet. So currently everything's working. That's good. I don't know why the fuel gauge is maxed out, because the signal's not even hooked up. I don't like that. I did get my intake. It's carbon. It's actual real carbon fiber. Kind of impressive. It's eBay. But it's got a filter inside. If you can see, it's pretty cool. It's kind of small, but it comes with this. Yeah, it's actually pretty quality. But I'm going to use it for the intake to the filter. And if it's not god awful loud, I'll run it into the cab, so it's not getting like dust and any sort of moisture like snow or water through it, just to help prolong the life of that filter. Alright guys, short video before the weekend. I'm heading north, a couple hours north for my mom's birthday. So I'll be up there spending time with her, and I'll hopefully get this video uploaded tonight or tomorrow morning. It's gonna be real short, kind of dry, but as always, thanks for watching guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell everybody about it, because once this thing is done, it's gonna be as much wheeling as I can do and all the beating I can do, and try to get all the epic footage that we should have gotten a long time ago. But thanks again guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe, drive fast, take chances.